Welcome to the Jeff and Heidi Show. We're excited today to have Elizabeth Baker with us, and she's got an exciting story to tell us, so we're looking forward to that. I'm Jeff Heidi. We've got Heidi Anderson here, and Elizabeth, please give us an introduction of yourself.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be on the show actually. Let's see, where do I start? Okay, well, I was born and raised in Canada, in Alberta, in a little town of 300 people, where I literally could just roam free, do what I want, when I want, and just be free. And so after that, after I graduated high school when I was 17, I just took off, and I feel like I haven't slowed down since. So, but in more recent years, I got married in 2008. I have 5 kids, all under the age of 10, 4 boys and a girl. And I graduated with a Bachelor's of Education from BYU-Idaho. I have moved 13 times in 11 years of marriage. And most currently, I am a rep for Zaya Active. And I just started my own company, Mom Life Today.
Awesome. And that's what I'm excited to talk about. I know your story behind your entrepreneurship journey, and it's exciting and it's inspiring. And hopefully, especially for the listeners that we have that are moms, they can get a lot out of this and get inspired by you and what you're doing and learn a lot from you. So tell us a little bit. Well, let's take a step back. I know, going back further, you started your entrepreneurial journey quite young, as in at the donut shop. So talk a little bit about that, and then let's just get up to the point of some of the entrepreneurial things that you've done up to this point, and then we'll get into your story about where you're headed right now.
Okay, that sounds good. So right when I was little, my parents were, so in our little town, there's a general store, or there's a main street, that there's one paved road, and on this paved road, we have the general store that had candy and a bakery that sold donuts. And I have a younger sister that's just 2 years younger than I am, and a sister that's about 18 months older than I am. And we wanted candy. Like every other kid, we just wanted candy. But we knew that if we wanted to get candy, we had to get money. And so one day, my mom was making her homemade donuts, and I thought to myself, well, if the bakery can sell donuts to get money, so can I. And so me and my sisters, we took as many donuts as we could. We walked up to Main Street, and we set up a little stand right in front of the bakery, because that's where we figured people that wanted donuts would go. And we ended up selling our donuts for about 10 cents less. I think the donuts were 40 cents to buy in the bakery. And Mrs. Johnson, bless her soul, she didn't get mad, she didn't care, and we ended up selling our donuts for 30 cents a piece, and we made money. We packed up our shop, and we went over to the general store and bought our candy, and that was it.
It was a one-day deal, like a 1-hour deal?
Or? No, we were always up to something to make money. That was just one. Another time,
your donut shop was just like for like 1 hour or 2 hours.
Yes, we just sat there until the donuts were gone, and we made enough money to go buy candy, and that was it.
That's awesome. How old were you then?
6.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. So yeah. And then we were always up to something. I think one time we made these Happy Easter cards, and we went door to door selling them. 10 cents a piece. We didn't tell my mom because we knew she'd be embarrassed. And when she got home, she's like, "Oh, these are really cute Happy Esther cards." Well, we spelled Easter wrong on all the cards, but we still got money for our candy. So yeah.
I love it. I love what you just find ways to get your candy, and just the entrepreneurial spirit behind all that. So that's awesome.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Or something.
Exactly.
Oh, exactly.
That's awesome. So really what I wanted to do bringing you on here is I want you to tell your story about what has brought you to where you are now and what you're doing now. So let's talk about the last little bit of kind of what you're doing, but also why you're doing it and all that sort of thing. Because that's one of that's such an important part of a business, is your why and why you're doing things. And your why is really strong. And so tell us your story. It's awesome.
Okay, so that's why I'm really excited to be on the show, is because I think that my story is going to resonate with a lot of women out there and a lot of mothers out there who struggle with anxiety and depression and just this feelings of mom guilt over and over again. And I created Mom Life Today, and I started Mom Life Today because I truly believe that if we can learn to hone into our individual identity and our strengths that we were just born with, that the things that make us who we are, then if we focus on those, then our life as a mother will automatically be strengthened. And so much guilt and anxiety that comes from just continually sacrificing yourself over and over and over again, which is just part of motherhood, that those moments of anxiety and depression will be fewer and fewer, and you'll realize that you are a good mom, that you are doing your best, and that what you have to offer your children is so important to them and to their growth and everything about them. And like I said before, I've been married for a little over 11 years. We started having kids right away. And we had 5 kids, just boom, 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 boom. My first 2 are 15 months apart, and then 2 years, and then I had a little more of a break. And then the next one came after 3 years, and then I had the last 2 just right after each other. And I think my journey of creating Mom Life, even though I went through so many things that led up to this point, I think I just kind of want to start back at March 2018, because that's when I had my 5th baby. So we were living in Billings, Montana, and for a job, we moved there a year previously. And I already had these moments of depression and kind of not wanting to be there, because we didn't know anybody in Billings. We were coming from my hometown, which I had this incredible tribe of women right around me supporting me, and I just loved my hometown. And so when we moved to Billings, I felt so lonely, but we knew that we wanted to give this a go, and the people there were amazing, but I already was just like naturally just kind of depressed and had all this anxiety. And I had suffered from anxiety on and off for about 15 years previous to that, and so it wasn't something that was new to me by any means. I was on and off different anxiety meds up to that point. Nothing seemed to really work. So I got pregnant with our 5th baby, and January hit, and I started having major health problems. So I ended up having to go on bed rest. My mom and sister came down to help out, and things were just kind of, stressful, but okay. And I knew things were stressful at my husband's job, but being a construction company. And so, but I kind of put that on my mind. Well, 2 days before I gave birth to our little Teddy, he came home and said, like, look, I've been laid off. And I'm like, okay. And I think at that point, I was just kind of numb to so many things. 2 days later, we had our baby, perfectly healthy baby, thank goodness. Everything went just fine during the labor and delivery. Well, a week later, I ended up getting these really, really severe pains and ended up back in the hospital with a strep A infection that just about killed me. And for 2 days straight, I was hooked up to all these like IVs and antibiotics and everything like that. And I remember sitting in this room, and luckily they put me in a really nice maternity room, and I was holding my baby, my brand new baby, and I was sitting there, I'm looking out the window, the sun was kind of coming in, and I was just crying. And I'm just like, and my faith is a big part of who I am. I feel like I believe in God. That is the core of who I am, is my faith. And I remember sitting there and kind of having a conversation with God and saying, like, look, I can't do this anymore. This is too hard. And it wasn't that I was losing my faith in God. It was just, I didn't want to live this life that I was living. It would just felt too hard to me. And a lot of peace came into my soul. A lot of courage came into my heart. And I decided at that moment that I was just going to press forward, and I was just going to trust God, and I was just going to press forward with everything. And that all happened in March 2018. Over the course of about 3 or 4 months, we decided to move to Utah, where my husband's from. He was able to find a job, and all of these things were happening. And I also joined Zaya at that point as a sales rep and started networking and started on myself.
Explain what Zaya is.
Oh yes, Zaya is an activewear company. That it's a direct sales company based here in Utah. And I had been following Chelsea Christensen, who is my mentor upline. And I decided to I needed to do something. I just had to do something, because if I just stayed in the basement of my mother and my in-laws' house, I don't know if you guys have ever had to live in your in-laws' house before, but I was just in the basement, and I thought, what are we doing? My husband doesn't have a job yet. And I thought, I'll sign up for Zaya as a sales rep. When I told my husband, I'm sure he's like, okay, what are we doing now? Because I had been in sales reps as direct companies before that. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work out with those companies. And I just felt really strongly to join Zaya. And through that, I was able to network, go to self-improvement classes, which I needed desperately. Started connecting with other women again, which is so important, I think. And I just learned a ton of lessons. And I'm so proud to be part of the Zaya community, even to this day. And so from that, I think that was a critical part. But how I got mom life, though, was I was putting away laundry. I was downstairs folding clothes, picking up the kids' room, and I was listening to a podcast called The Nitty Gritty Show. And one of the host on there was talking about his ADHD, and I was putting away clothes, and all of a sudden a thought came to me that was so clear. It was almost as if it was like a voice saying, Elizabeth, you have ADHD. And it was a huge aha moment for me. It wasn't this panic. It wasn't this oh crap, what's wrong with me? It was oh, my life makes sense now. Because just the way that we've moved so many times, the way that I'm never feeling settled, all the anxiety and depression and everything that I had been dealing with, I'm oh. And so I sat down and whipped out my phone, and I started doing what every normal mom would do, is whip out their phone and start taking these tests online to find out whether or not I actually had ADHD. But then I actually called the doctor. I went and got tested, and sure enough, I had ADHD. And that was a really huge pivotal moment for me in creating Mom Life Today, because once I got onto that medication, it was if my mind was unlocked, that all these ideas and everything that I felt like was being suppressed by this inability to get it out of my mind, that because people with ADHD, they're really good with input, but they're really bad with output. So we input at a faster rate than most people. And because of that input and the inability to output it like regular people, we get lots of anxiety and depression. And just that understanding alone brought so much relief to me. And when my mind was unlocked, I started writing. I just started writing and writing all these thoughts that had been locked into my brain since I started having kids, about self-identity and who I was. And so even though in all actuality, Mom Life is 10 years of having kids and, all those experiences that led up to it, but it was the moment that I found out that I had ADHD and my mind was unlocked that I was able to actually process all of this. And that happened about 4 months ago. And within 4 months, I went from just being a scattered-brained, anxiety-filled woman to having this company and understanding so much more about myself and realizing that, oh, hey, I got to do something, because I bet there are so many moms out there that suffer for no other reason than the fact that they've forgotten who they are. And with my newfound ability, I call it my superpower of ADHD, I've been able, and with the help of many people, including Jeff, I've been able to create Mom Life. So, which is just a website right now where people can go and where moms can go, they put their name and email, and they join the community. And I'm just planning on just bringing them so much value and understanding and a place to go where they can actually find time to connect with themselves once in a while. So, yeah.
Did you find with getting into the fitness wear did you make also fitness part of your life as far as like exercising and everything? Because does that help with the ADHD as well?
Oh, 100%. And I think the reason why I never suffered really from anxiety and depression when I was younger was because I was so active. I played sports nonstop, but I was 100% just like a wild child. Like I wanted to go play with my friend who lived on a farm 5 miles out of town. I was 5 years old riding my training wheel bike, and I saw the training wheels and I just got on the highway and I just went up to it. Like I never thought about, like I never had like really like these barriers for all this energy I always had. And my dad, who was the principal of our little tiny high school of 40 kids, my class had 7 kids in it, 1 boy and 6 girls. And I played basketball all the time, like all the time. And so when I graduated high school, that's when I started noticing the anxiety and the depression starting to come back, because I wasn't as free. I had to live in these parameters that I wasn't used to living in. And I think I kind of lost that free spirit that I had growing up, where I just came and went and did, like, if I wanted to get something done, I just did it. And people are probably like, well, you grew up in a really religious, strict house that you couldn't, go party, or you couldn't. I'm like, no, but my real desires, my true desires were always fulfilled, because I just had this mentality of like, if you want something done, go do it. And you didn't need, no one should stop you from doing that. And so when I graduated high school and I had to live in these parameters, I think and especially once Mom Life came into my life, and that I was, your kids control your life in a way, and that's okay. I chose that life, and I understand, like, motherhood is full of sacrifices. But after I was diagnosed with ADHD just a few months ago, I just had this epiphany that, hey, you don't have to sacrifice who you are to be a really good mom. And that was a huge epiphany for me, huge, that I can be a good mom and still be an entrepreneur, which that's my new sports in life. Like, I have a bazillion ideas that I just want to get out there, and I want to do it, and I want to create this, and I want to do this. And I have these notebooks that are just full of these ideas, and I just feel like nobody can stop me. And there's so much, and that's okay. Like, once I embrace that part of me, I realized, like, oh, I can actually take that and teach my kids how to be the same way and be an example for them. And so much anxiety and depression that I was suffering before has just been like released from my life, and it's just been incredible.
Yeah. So tell us, I know tell us about the point when you decided to change your focus and make the Mom Life your focus. Tell us about that, and the challenges you've had with that, the questions you've asked yourself, all those, thoughts you've had, and, through that process. And for any listeners that, a mom that has had the desire to be an entrepreneur or do something, but, has the kids at home and, maybe thinking, well, I can do that when they're all in school or whatever it might be. Also tell us how Mom Life today can help that mom.
Okay. So that is a really good question, because despite what I've been saying, and despite all of this epiphany that I've had, and this desire and this knowledge and the belief that anybody, like any mom out there, this is something that they can do too, I still wake up every day and have to remind myself every day, because, a lot of the times I wake up and I think, what did I just do? Or like, I'm not, like, I can't do this. I'm just like, no, whoops, I take it all back. I'm not ready for, and I get scared and I lose myself and everything. And so, but I think if I was to really think about it, I think I do what I do and why I think it's so important and how I connect to my why or what my why is. I think it kind of came from, I had one really incredible moment where I was attending like an entrepreneur class, and that's a big part of it too. Just side note, squirrel. One piece of advice that I need to give every single mom out there is start connecting with your tribe, whatever that tribe is. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't, like me, but there are so many events and like communities online on Facebook out there. But I discovered that when I joined Zaya. So I was just on Instagram, and the owner of Journey 5, which is a clothing store here in Utah, she was holding an entrepreneur not conference, but like a workshop one Saturday where she had 6 other women who are entrepreneurs come and speak to us. And one of them was a musician, and she had us close our eyes and do a meditative exercise. And the way it was just so powerful because she had to close our eyes and imagine going up to your dream home. You walk up to this house, whatever it looks like, it's your dream house. Just you go up to it and you open up the door and you walk in and you see yourself there waiting for you. But not just yourself now, but yourself in 30 years. And you go up to that person and you ask them, and you can ask them just one question. Or you just have this 5-minute conversation with your future self. What would you say? Or what would your future self tell you yourself now? And I'm going to start to cry because it was just so powerful for me because, I'm such a cry. I just had this vision of myself in 30 years from now, and myself told me, like, you did it. You did it. Stop worrying about the little stuff now because you're going to do this and you already did it. And it was almost as if God was speaking to me. And like I said, I'm very faith-based. Like, my relationship with my Heavenly Father is so powerful, and it's my very essence of what like my motivation in life. But once I heard myself say that to me and saying, like, why am I worrying? Why am I doubting? I already did it. And that was so, like, that spoke to me. And I realized, like, I already did this. And so afterwards, after we were done and I was bawling and I wrote everything down, and the question that I really had to answer was, like, who did I do it for? That's what I need to focus on right now, is who am I doing this for and who did I do it for? And I came up with several things, and I did it for my God. I did it for me. I did it for my family, and I did it for the one. And that one was really powerful for me as well, because yes, it's not surprising that I felt like I did it for my family or I did it for my God. But what stuck out to me and why and that was also the moment I started creating Mom Life in my mind and putting it all together, because I knew I had to do something to reach the one. And the one woman out there, the one mom that needed to hear this, that needed to say, like, hey, you are special. You have infinite worth, and you were born the way that you were born because God needs you to be you. And that's the inspiration that I think that moment where I'm like, hey, I got to do something to reach the one. And Mom Life Today that's where it started. And I think that's what I go back to time and time again, to say, like, hey, I'm doing this. It may seem like I'm just like a regular, like, it may not reach a lot of people, but if I keep on doing it so I can reach one person, then I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over again, no matter what. So
that's beautiful. It's kind of like
Yes.
the little boy throwing the starfish back into the ocean, and the old
Yes,
man's like, "You're never going to get him back in." He goes, "I saved that one," right?
exactly. And that's,
It's a beautiful story. It really is.
thank you. And I hope that anybody that's listening to this, any woman that wants to be an entrepreneur, but they have 5 kids that are knocking down their doors, or you're trying to have a one-on-one call with your business coach, or, whatever, it's okay. Just because it looks different than everybody else doesn't mean it's not important, or it's not that you're not an entrepreneur. Like in my bio that I just recently wrote for a different publication, I wrote at the end of it is, yes, when you list my accomplishments, they're pretty average sounding. They're pretty like I got my degree, I have kids, I got married, I started business, but when you add in the fact that I had to do it while not knowing I had ADHD, not like while I had ADHD, it's like, no, that's what makes my journey, and what I feel so passionate about is the fact that like I kind of did it the hard way. And that's what people think I'm doing it the hard way, but in all actuality, I feel like I'm doing it the passionate, creative way. And so, yes, what I'm doing may not like the big business person, that like the corporate woman or man that would come into my life and be like, you're doing it wrong, you need to do this, you need to do this with your kids or what. No, just listen to your gut. Like all the moms out there, no matter what they want to do, and especially if you want to go and be an entrepreneur, like I just want them to know like you can, and you have to listen to that gut, because as powerful and as negative as mom guilt is in your life, that's how powerful your mom intuition is that's battling. Like listen to your intuition. You have it in there. You just have to connect with it and believe in it, and just have faith in that and in your gut, because that's what's your power, that's your tool, and that's what you've got to use, especially when you're trapped in your house with kids. But yeah.
One of the things that I really love is just the passion with what you do. And that's what I mentioned at the first, is your why of why you're doing it is so true to who you are. And I think that's what brings you a lot of success. But as an entrepreneur, what do you see as some of your success tools that help you along that entrepreneurial journey?
Moms have to learn to roll with the punches. You just have to. You have to pivot. You have to you have to think of other people too. We are excellent team members. When we think of an organization or a business, like if you take your house and your home and your kids, it's a mini business. Like that's what it is. Like you are running a household. A household is a business. And so, and you're trying to produce really good kids. That's what, you're trying to produce people that will add and benefit society. Okay. And so you have to realize that, like think of those moments where like you're at home and you're in charge and you're just like, we have to get you off to school. We have to do this every single day, maybe not right now because we're in quarantine, but like, you have these little tasks and they may seem menial to other people. They may seem, like so crappy and not, like not beneficial to society in any way because you're not bringing in the big bucks. But you know how many lessons I've learned over the last 10 years of just like having kid after kid after kid? It is 1, how to function with no sleep. 2, how to be the best problem solver out there. Like you get thrown curveballs daily and you have to figure out like, just because, I don't know, like just because something A happens, it doesn't mean that B can't, like you learn to do things and get things done because you still have to do it. Like you still have to feed your kids. Like when you're sick and you're puking and you're throwing up, but you have this 6-month-old baby that you're nursing or needs a bottle or whatever, like you still have to get up and go do it. And you just learn to work through those problems. You can't tell me that some like running a business, like as a leader and a CEO, that you don't like, you have to just put up with crap and do the crap work. Like you just have to get things done. And so that is a huge thing that so many moms that don't realize that they have. Like changing dirty diapers, I don't like that. Like I hate that, but I do it because it has to be done. And so there's so many things of like organizing and being conscious of everybody else's schedule. Like I have things that I need to get done, and I've learned how to get them done around everybody else's schedule and everybody else's needs. And that's just what you do as a mom. Like people, your family needs you to learn how to do that. But within that, don't forget about your own schedule. Like make it a part of like that, because what's happening is moms, they organize everybody else's schedules, you know, like kids have to do this and this and that. And, you know, I can't do this because my husband's at work and I have to take care of the kids and all that kind of stuff. Well, what happens is that you put your own schedule and your own needs on the back burner. No, don't put it on the back burner. Just rotate it into your life. Because I also don't believe that that you need to put yourself above everybody else because you're the CEO, that you're more important than everybody else. No, you just have to bring that all together. And so moms make excellent team members and leaders because they're not in it for power. They're in it for a specific goal and creating this, you know, like, I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling right now. The ADHD is kind of kicked in a little bit here. But I hope that kind of makes sense.
I think it makes perfect sense. And it's a great way. And like you said, I think there are a lot of women who could benefit from this. I was a mompreneur, but I only had one child, and it was challenging. I can't even imagine with 5. So you're keeping a lot of balls in the air that would be a super challenge for a lot of people. Are you going to add to this, like something like this, like a podcast or something where you can bring on other mompreneurs and have these conversations and help them?
Oh, for sure. I like definitely.
Like an online therapist.
Yeah, no, I honestly, Melissa, who you had on the show last time, your last episode, she's incredible. She's so good because where I'm like the visionary, the ADHD person, there's a lot of moms out there that are like, you know, like that get the schedule, that run off the schedule, that get the processes. Like they're incredible. Like I have so much love and respect for those women, and I need those people in my life and in my tribe. And I feel like so many moms have so much to do. But I remember I was talking to Melissa for the first time a while back, and she's like, "You need to do a podcast." And I started laughing. I'm like, "I can't do a podcast. There's no way." And she's like, "No, you're doing a podcast." You know, and it was just so awesome how she was just like so passionate for me. And so, yes, I right now I have been collecting stories, people's story. You would be shocked the amount of stories and different stories that each woman has out there. And through all these different events, I've started collecting all these stories. And so, now that I've launched my website, momlife.today is the website. It's really, so you just go online, type in momlife.today. It will take you to my website. And right now I'm just collecting growing the communities. I'm just collecting emails. And when you enter in your email, you'll get an email back from me with a free PDF about discovering your roots and what makes you you. So you can download that, print that, and then starting in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start doing a monthly newsletter where I'm going to showcase these stories that I've been collecting of all, like even stories of women that don't have kids. Like they still live the mom life with or without children. There's just this mom mentality, kind of like the Mamba mentality from Kobe for all of you guys out there that are into sports. Well, I'm going to call my own mentality the mom mentality. And so you don't have to be a mom to live that mom life. And so, but anyways, yeah, I'm going to be showcasing these. And then eventually once I get that under control and that set up, I'm going to start doing a podcast. And it's just going to be a quick 10-minute, maybe, I don't know, just where I have guests and I try to counsel them the best I can with what I know and my experiences.
You'll probably have a hard time keeping it to 10 minutes because once you started getting into this conversation, you're gonna no, not just because of you. I just mean the interaction with the other women. You know, I'm sure those conversations will get pretty deep, and cutting that off at 10 minutes could be a challenge for everybody involved.
Yes, but
So we're actually at our limit point now, and I don't want anyone to miss how to be in contact with you. And so we've got
yes.
just a couple minutes. So besides momlife.today, and anyone that hears this wants to be getting in there and signing up for your newsletter, best right now before those get started, get your name in there, but share everywhere that people can find you and contact you and learn more.
Okay, I kind of want to pull a Gary V and just put my phone number out there because I'm so passionate about this. Like, if you just want to call and talk to me, like, I'm here. I would love to talk to anybody, but start off with my email. My email is elizabeth@momlife.today. And that's Elizabeth with a Z, or Z if you're from Canada. And then my Instagram handle is @liz.momlifetoday. And you can also find me on Facebook. And my name is Elizabeth Baker, and so it's kind of hard to find, but I know in the show notes where you're going to have the actual link to my Facebook. And honestly, I just created the Facebook page for Mom Life Today, and so I forget the actual address for it. I think it's just at actually find me on Instagram and email me.
And I'll make sure all of this is in the show notes so they can find you there.
Yes.
But thank you, Liz. I want to wrap it up before we get cut off, but thank you so much. You've got such a great, passionate story. Hopefully people will reach out to you through this, and good luck with all of it.
Yeah,
thank you so much, and thank you for letting me share my story. There's not too many people that let me talk, because once I get going, it's nonstop. So thank you so much for letting me be on your podcast.
You bet. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Hope you got a lot out of that episode and you enjoyed it. The next few slides are going to show you how to stay in touch with myself, with Heidi, and our guests. So stay tuned for that. But just to give you a little bit more information about myself and Heidi, we're both entrepreneurs. I'm a business development coach. Love working with entrepreneurs. Please visit my website at jeffhegie.com, jeffhegie.com, and jeffhagiecoaching.com. You'll be able to find out what we offer there, from the one-on-one coaching to the group coaching and the Inner Circle Mastermind. It's an incredible group of entrepreneurs, big thinkers. Love to have you join us there. So take a look and let me know if I can do anything for you. Now, Heidi, she's a business financial strategist. She works with business owners to create tax-free cash flow to help save the money on taxes and merchant fees. And you can stay in touch with her at handerson@ecibfs.com, or you can contact her at 855-782-2737. Look forward to hearing from you and look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Thanks.